So the three planning questions now, if you believe what I've said so far, are number one, what do we want the people to do who are going to visit our exhibit? I'm going to tell you a story about that. And number two, who are the right people that can do that? And how do we define them? And then number three, what is it we need to tell them in order to get them to do our bidding? How do we get them to do that? Those are the real planning questions. Now, let me give you a great example. Case Equipment Corporation used to spend $2 million a year going to ConExpo. And the executives kept saying, we don't understand why we're spending $2 million. We don't really, this is a boondoggle. We don't get a lot out of this. A lot of people kicking the tires on the tractors. So the sales force whined and moaned for about 10 years to go back to the show. And finally the executive said, okay, we'll go back to the show one more time. But this time, when we go back, you better be able to show us how we get payback on that $2 million. So I got called to be the person to figure out the payback and to prove to the executives that the show was or was not worthwhile. And so I went up to a big meeting in Racine. They had a huge conference table that had 60 people around it. And as soon as I walked in the door, they just threw me the football with no warning and said, okay, here's our out-of-town consultant, take it away. So they had the big model in the middle. It was a 200 by 200 yard outside with tractors and skid steers and all little models on it showing what they were going to show at the show. So I said, okay, I better come up with something really smart here. So I'm standing at the front of the table and I said, this looks great. This is what you're going to show everybody at the show, and there are 120,000 people at this show. That's all great. What do you want them to do? What do you want the people who come to see you to do as a result of visiting you at ConExpo? And you could have heard a pin drop. And then finally, the VP of sales, the head guy for sales, said, Ed, that is exactly the right question. The answer is, if these customers who see us at ConExpo don't go to a dealer after the event, then we won't sell anything, because we don't sell, the dealers sell. We don't get any checks from end customers, the dealers do. So we have to get those people we see at the show to go to the dealer in order to sell anything. And our whole campaign changed. And a series of direct marketing elements and a number of other things were employed that got people to the exhibit at ConExpo, but most importantly, took them through the exhibit to the dealer after the event. So you see that action, as far as driving the planning, became everything.